get some questions?
Sure. No, guys, it's definitely an exciting time for the Tiger baseball program, and I know that the team is really ready to roll and get out of Columbia, especially with this weather right now. But we feel like we're ready. We're gonna see if we're physically ready. It's been a tough stretch here with the weather and trying to get outside and get ready for college baseball season, which starts in mid-February. But excited to go to battle with this group. They've worked hard. It's been 11 months since we've competed against another opponent, and just excited to see what we can do on opening day.
Colin, you can go ahead and get.
Yeah, Coach Bieser, I know the end of the season last year was tough for some guys like Peter who had a good idea they weren't going to be coming back. But what were the emotions like in that group of guys that knew they were going to be coming back and wanted to continue that, I guess, that good momentum you guys had started last year?
Yeah, I mean, that at that point, all the uncertainty and the bitterness that when we actually found out that there was no more college season, I believe it took a while to kind of get over that. It was a time of kind of grieving and kind of really realizing what's going on. And then it seemed by the time that we've got back for the fall that everybody was energized. Everybody was, really wanting to get out and play an opponent. And we had just seemed like we were very focused on wanting to get better each day. And we've done a good job with preparation. And I think guys are ready to go. I mean, there's no doubt that they're, anybody would be wanting to go after 11 months, but these guys are really ready to go.
Eric, you can go.
Hey, Steve, hope you're doing well. Baseball was one of the first sports that had actual games taken away and is now maybe the last NCAA sport to actually return. Just how have you managed just what is an incredibly long offseason and track guys' progress? Like, how have you just made sure guys have consistently gotten better over that 11-month offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that we looked at it is almost it was a blessing. It gave us time to kind of recollect and start getting things even more organized. When our staff has constantly been adjusting with guys getting a chance to move on to professional baseball, and it felt like we were just kind of rushing through things to try to get everybody on the same page. But we had a chance to step back, really gather all the information that we have on this team, gather the recruiting classes, and really focus and center in on what's going to take us to that next level. And feel like we hit the ground running whenever the players returned from the summer break and came back. So I feel like it gave us an opportunity to kind of, get our feet under us and really be more, I guess I should say, just more intentional about all the things that our program stands for.
Andrew.
Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. Just how has COVID impacted you guys? Since this whole thing started, have you guys had to stop and go? And then do you guys have a full roster head into the first couple games here?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we talk about in our program is just controlling the uncontrollables that we can't control, the uncontrollables. And that's something that we can't. We want to control what we can control. And the players have done a good job of just, focusing on controlling those things. We've been very fortunate, I feel, as a program as far as, the COVID cases. And when we first got back from summer, we had a couple that slowed us down for the first couple of weeks. And after we got through those first couple of weeks, we were, pretty much 100% all the way through our fall workouts. Same thing when we got back from break over winter, and we got back here in January. We had a couple cases and traces that slowed us down. But right now we're back to pretty much full strength from a COVID basis. And, it's a challenge every weekend. You test on Wednesday and hope you're taking the guys that you had planned on taking whenever you depart on Thursday. And that's what we're going to learn each week of, who's going to be on that roster based on passing, being a negative, and who's going to be on it because, they earn their way on it.
And then quickly, health-wise, injury-wise, how's the team health-wise headed into the season?
I would say we're fairly healthy. We have a couple arms that we would normally be taking with us at this time of the year that's slowed down a little bit, and nothing serious at this point. And we're hoping that everything's good with them. But College baseball, it starts way too soon for the northern teams, and to get your pitchers and expect your pitchers to be ready to go in mid-February when you're a northern team and dealing with this weather, because the one thing that our players haven't done is they haven't been outside playing on a baseball field. Most of our stuff's been in a controlled environment indoors. There's no wind, there's no sun to deal with, all those things that you would need to deal with to be completely ready. But overall, health-wise, I think, I would say we're about 85%.
Mason.
Hey, Coach Bieser, hope you're doing well. You talked a little bit at the open about sort of the difficulties in trying to get practice in amidst the weather concerns that have been going on the last couple of weeks. Has there been any sort of changes to like the practice routine as a result of that, or has it been pretty much just same old thing, just moving it indoors or just changing it up a little bit?
Yeah, there's really been a lot of change to the practice setting and what we would normally do in a normal year. One of the biggest things is not even the weather. We're used to dealing with the weather, but dealing with it in a large roster of, we have 55 players, and if you go online, you'll see 55 players on our roster. And my commitment to our guys was, they had an opportunity to try to find somewhere else to go before the fall semester started. But there's just no place out there. Every roster is dealing with extra players, and made a commitment that we're going to give them everything that we have. We're going to be able to set up a practice structure to get everybody their work, and we've stuck to that commitment. And so it's been a challenge, I think, more so for the staff than it has been for the players, because they're kind of getting their work in. But that's been probably the biggest adjustment. We're used to moving indoors, but it's a little different when you try to move indoors and you've got 55 players. You have to make sure that you're not crowding too many people in one small area, and how we rotate them in. And a lot of that has been done with our pitching staff of, we got 6 pitchers a day. That's really structured to be a huge part of the practice. And the other guys have some other area where they can go get their work in. And that's something that we almost put it as a pro format for our pitchers. They're on a 7-day routine, and they're following that protocol. I will say, just based on doing it for the first time, most of our players aren't ready to be pros yet, but it was something that we challenged them to, that 7-day routine and just being really strict to what they need to do to prepare. So now we're kind of centering in on our travel roster, the players that'll be with us throughout the duration of the season, and then trying to get them back into a good routine.
Dave.
Hey, Steve, how much of a feel do you have for what your everyday lineup can be, or at least, what you would put out there if you're playing an SEC series now? I know you're not, but how good of a sense do you have of who your 9 would be?
A really good feel right now. I mean, one of the things that we haven't been able to do is to run 9 guys out and be consistent with those 9 guys throughout the course of the year. We've always had to do a lot of platoons and mix and balance and try to do those things to be more competitive. And, when you can get 9 guys that know that they're everyday players and they're going to be able to get in a lineup every single day and go out and play, I think that you see some freedom there. And it also allows your bench players to accept that role and be a very positive force as a bench player. Because to me, that's the hardest thing in baseball to do is to accept the role of being complimenting the guy that potentially is playing in front of you, whether you're a defensive replacement for him, or you're a pinch runner, or you're looking for a great matchup on the bench to come in with against a certain type of pitcher. So I do feel that we're close to having 9 players every day in our lineup. We will still have some platoon opportunities there. And I think that we have a potential to see a couple of young guys kind of come on a little bit. It's not going to happen on an opening day, but I think we have some young guys that have really keep progressing very well. That's going to push to be, one of those everyday guys before it's all over.
Colin.
Yeah, Steve, kind of along those lines, 4-game series to start at Grand Canyon. How much will those innings help you determine starters? And do you anticipate that doubleheader? Will doubleheaders this year be 2 9 innings, or will they be 7 like it was in MLB? Do you have a sense of that yet?
Yeah, the 4 non-conference weekends, I really, I forced the issue a little bit where we're going to play 2 9s, and that's a long day. but we have pitchers that we need to see. We got to be able to have pitching figured out by weekend 4, our last non-conference weekend, so that we can roll into the conference weekend and be super strong. And what we will see a lot early is you'll see some 3-inning guys. You'll see some 4-inning guys. You may not see the typical 6, 7, 8-inning type guy early on, but we're going to give some guys some opportunities. And I shouldn't say give them the opportunities. We're going to give guys that have earned that opportunity to come in and throw the opportunity to do just that. And I think we'll find out, from that is who, I think we got a lot of good 3-inning guys. Spencer's on this call. I don't usually like talk about my players, but Spencer's more than a 3-inning guy. And he's a guy that's kind of earned that role to be that Friday night guy, to be the guy that's going to secure us a great start on every weekend. And but he's not built up to throw 7, 8, or 9 innings right now. He's built up to be, a solid 6 for us, and we've got to turn to somebody else. So I think we'll find that the pitching can be a strength when we're back to 100% with all of our healthy guys. And that's something that we'll be able to hang our hat on is the pitching and defense again this year. But I think you're going to see a new and improved offense as well.
Matt.
Hi, Steve. Along the lines of the newcomers, who are some of those that you expect have earned some opportunities here in the early season? And how do you balance, as a head coach and as a manager of the club, the need, of course, to win as many games as you can with the need to find the work for people who have earned it?
Yeah, definitely different than it was last year. Last year, we knew that, non-conference really didn't mean anything. We were playing for one thing, and that was to win the SEC outright. And we knew that our season was over after that with the sanctions on us. But, this year it's much different. Every game does count. We found that, we've come up one game short for, we're going into our 5th season. It seems like for 4 years, there's one game in the schedule that you could pick out. If we'd have just won this game, maybe that puts us over the top and puts us into regional play. So we've got to be careful there with just trying to get guys experience or just playing them to give them experience. They have to earn that in practice. And I think what we need to see is just a consistency in practice. We see great flashes, the guys that we're talking about of the CJ Sapickis and a guy like Ross Lovich and Garrett Rice and those guys that are really coming on. But you don't see enough consistency to say that they're the everyday player right now when you've got some more experienced guys sitting in front of them. So, I would say that probably the biggest impact is probably on the mound of guys like Zach Heiss and Ian Losey and Connor Phelps. And just we've got a really good freshman class there that have just done an outstanding job with Parker Wright and that group. But they will get their opportunities because they're in a different position. They're a pitcher, and they're going to get their 2 to 3 inning opportunities. And as they have a good 2, 3 innings, then they get 4 or 5 maybe, and just keep building off of that. So it's just it's nice to have the competition that we have inside the practice setting right now. And we just need guys to earn that a little bit more before we make that move. And because of the inconsistency, the hope is that you really don't get there. It's that your experienced guy kind of takes it and runs with it and can't be unseated. That's really what we'd like to see.
Mitchell.
Steve, you touched on the fact that this team has come close to earning a regional berth a few times under your tenure. I guess how much is that vocalized preseason as a goal, or do you all kind of wait and not talk about it as much?
We've always talked about it a lot. We're looking at RPI, we're looking at those things, and we're keeping that in front. And I think we've done a really good job of keeping that at the forefront, because if you really look at, we stress those Tuesday games, and if you look at what we've done non-conference, and guys don't take a day off because we're playing a mid-major on a Tuesday, or we're playing somebody that we should beat. They stay focused. They win that game. And that's really what we're trying to get our guys to do. But to not, I wanted to eliminate the Omaha talk this year. And, I had team captains that kind of talked me back into it. Well, that's kind of the ultimate goal. So we're still going to think about it. And the biggest thing that we want to do is just And it's so cliche, but we want to take it one pitch, one inning, one day at a time, and just focus on that particular day, and try to be where their feet are right now, and not try to look beyond where we know we want to go. But that carrot's hanging out there, that regional play, we got to start there, and then we got to be able to work our way through there. And our conference prepares us better than any other conference if you can get into a regional. You've been through the battles, and you're set up to go all the way through there and get to Omaha.
We'll finish up with Andrew and then Reed.
Coach, just wondering if there's anything new on potentially getting turf field in the outfield. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely continuing to push for that, and it's because of days like today. Not that we would get outside on 0-degree weather, but we've already taken the opportunity a couple weeks ago. Snow all over the field, snow in the infield, and we're able to push that snow off. And we were able to have a practice setting in 50-degree weather because we were able to push that snow off the field. So we're still pushing to try to get the outfield done. It will make it a lot easier. We're trying to play. You guys have seen the schedule. We're trying to play second weekend in February here, and it's likely that we would need to push something off or to be able to do those things. And right now we can only do it in one area. We'd have to wait for everything else in the outfield to take place. But we know that there's a lot of improvements that we need to continue to do. But when it comes to what do we need to do first, it's really about player development, player safety, and trying to get those things in place. And I think that's one component of the player safety and opportunities to give our players a chance to play. So we're pushing that. I feel like it's things stay kind of on the upswing as they are right now, that hopefully by at the end of this season we'll be able to start and finish that little portion up that we've been trying to do for a couple of years now.
Hey, Coach. Reed Glenn with the Columbia Missourian. You talked about having a new and improved offense and mentioned some specific freshmen, but you also have guys like Mark Vierling who've been with the team for a while. Can you kind of speak on what those kind of guys, those glue guys, mean for the team this year?
Yeah, I mean, you took my word from me. They are the glue guys, and they're sitting right in the middle of our lineup. They've got the experience, and they, it's upon them to be those glue guys day in and day out and make the rest of the lineup go. But it's going to start towards the top with your Mark Vierlings and Brant Belk, who got off to a great start last year, and then you're going to get into the heart of the lineup with Luke Mann and Chad McDaniel, and we feel like we've done a pretty good job of bringing in some transfers that have experience. Andrew Kiefer has a chance to help us there in the middle, and Cameron Swanger's been playing really well, and Torin Montgomery. In our catching situation, Chad's not able to catch for us right now. He's strictly a DH, but we've had two catchers step up and have really improved themselves offensively. In both Michael Coletta and Trey Morris, and they're going to be platooning early in the season. But they are tough outs in a lineup, and to have tough outs like that. And right now, I'm thinking that they're hitting towards the bottom of our lineup. That's exciting to have some really tough outs at the bottom of your lineup, because that hasn't been the case here over the last couple of years. We've been a little soft at the bottom. And I think we're just a little bit deeper overall.
All right, we can move on to questions for Spencer and Luke now.